Hello, welcome to episode 36 of Little Bobbins Knits. My name is Dani and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Little Bobbins. We have a Ravelry group which you can find by searching Little Bobbins Knits podcast group. Oh, I always forget that one, don't I? In the groups tab on Ravelry. There'll be links in the show notes. And show notes can be found at littlebobbins.co.uk. I'm also on Periscope now. I don't know if you've heard about Periscope, but it's a live broadcasting app. I think it's put out by the people who make Twitter, and you can sort of do these live broadcasts and people who are watching can interact with you. And it's a really fun app. I was introduced to it by Juliana, who hand dyes the beautiful Juliana's Fibres yarn. She's Juliana Pacini on Instagram and Periscope and Twitter, I think. So I went over and had a look because she had done a couple of broadcasts and I was really intrigued. And it just seems like it might be a really fun place for us Fibre people to be. I've done a little look around my sewing room, and I also did a little live demonstration type thing of how I make my little catnip mice. So that was really fun. The only thing about it is the broadcasts are only on there for 24 hours. So you can watch it live and interact with the person who's broadcasting, which is really fun. It's so lovely to be able to say hello to you in live, real time type thing. Or you can watch it for 24 hours after that. So yeah, it's intriguing. I'm looking forward to seeing what people are going to do with it. And I would recommend following Juliana because she's done some great how to use Periscope scopes and things. So yeah, I'll link it in the show notes if you want to come over and have a look. It looks like it might be a lot of fun. So I'm My Little Bobbins over there, if I haven't said that already. So it's been a couple of weeks since my last episode, and I'm going to try not to talk about moving house stress, but that has just consumed me over the last couple of weeks. So I always heard people say about how it's one of the most stressful things you can go through, and I don't think I appreciated quite how true that was. So yeah, I've just been completely consumed by that stressfulness. And we've got it easy. We don't have to move with children or anything like that. So I dread to think what it would be like with those extra stresses. We're moving around the corner, for goodness sake. It shouldn't be that stressful, but it is horrific. But anyway, yeah, I'm not going to go into that because it's boring, isn't it? How it's boring, stressful, rubbish. So, but that's why I wasn't around last week. So, I've got some treats here for Bobbin. He's just noticed that I've touched them. Bobbin received the loveliest package in the post. It was a complete surprise and it was just so wonderful. So, it was from Teresa and she sent us some things from Barker's of Suffolk. Didn't she, Bobbin? There were some biscuits. I put a picture on Instagram. There were some lovely biscuits. And this, I just thought was so cute. He has had one already. But they're little doggy chocolates and they say Bobbin. Isn't that so cute? He hasn't had any of the letters yet. Because I wanted to show you. I just thought that was so sweet. So, do you want one of these? If I give it to him, he'll go off and eat it somewhere because it's just that sort of size that he likes to eat these in private. If they're small, he'll eat them here, but that's his little craziness. Do you want one of these? Do you want to show Teresa you're eating the little chocolate? Oh, so scrumptious. So thank you so much, Teresa. That was just such a lovely surprise. while I was getting ready for the podcast, and I wanted to bring these up. So I was carrying them around and then I forgot something. So I had this little dog following me, looking at this box of doggy chocolates while I was gathering things here and there. I think he was just desperate for me to sit down and give him a chocolate. So yeah, thank you so much. Just pop them up there so you can't have any more for a bit. So today I've got some works in progress to show you, some finished objects and some lovely things. I'll talk a bit about the Purposeful stash along, and went to Fibre East a couple of weeks ago, so I'll chat about that a little bit too. So, works in progress. It's funny how quickly you feel completely out of practice with this stuff. I did want to say, I will get into the knitting in a second, sorry, I just keep going off on tangents. I did just want to say thank you so much to all of you, really. It means so much that you come and watch, and thank you to the people who interact in the group. It's so lovely, and the people who comment on the episode threads, that just means so much to me. It's really great encouragement for me. So thank you, I really appreciate that. I'm not brilliant at groups. I think it's a shyness thing. But I'm always trying to be better. I haven't been in there much the last couple of weeks because of the thing we won't talk about. But I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate you, because I really, really do. A lot. So thank you for being there and getting in touch and things. Bobbin enjoyed that. Didn't you, Bobbin? You'd like another one, wouldn't you? But you can't have another one right now. So my lovely zombie bag from Sam, that Betsy makes, are my Knitalong socks. Now, he's looking for the box. Good boy, you want to come sit with me? Come here then. Regina, who hosts the new Herbs Blatt Regina podcast, I'll put links in the show notes because I don't know that you'll be able to tell what I just said from my awful pronunciation, is hosting her first Knitalong. I think she's got 2 episodes out now. It's a lovely podcast, so I'd highly recommend going and having a watch. And the Knitalong is for anything knit out of the Pond colourway from Baronvilla. And I've wanted this colourway for ages because I saw some socks that Vicky, who dyes for Baronvilla, I saw the socks that she'd knitted up and they were so lovely. So I got my hands on a scheme and thought I would join in the Knitalong. So it's fun to see what different people are doing. Lots of people are doing socks. Regina did a lovely cowl. It's very beautiful. Yeah, so do go and have a look at that if you'd like to. I had cast on this sock. Excuse me, Barbie. I had cast on this sock already and I was knitting it at my normal stitch count, at my normal, with my normal needles. And because this yarn is so plump and lovely, it's so squishy, I thought it might work quite nicely with larger needles. So instead of my usual 2.25mm, I'm using 2.75mm. And instead of my usual 64 stitch count, I'm using 56 stitches. So I haven't got that far on my restart, but hopefully they'll fit nicely. I think they'll be really nice and cosy. The yarn base is just gorgeous and I love how they're knitting up. So yeah, enjoying these. I used a different cast on for these. I was watching Zena from Little Yellow Uke Crafts podcast, and she was talking about what cast on she uses for top-down socks. And she uses one called Tilly Buddy's Stretchy Cast On. So I thought, oh, that sounds intriguing, and I went and had looked it up on YouTube. And it's quite an interesting cast on, actually. I usually just use longtail cast on, but I thought I would give this one a try. And it's quite interesting. I'm intrigued to see how it works. It's a much less substantial cast on than longtail. I don't know if you can really see very well, but it's quite... The rib sort of grows out of nothing, if that makes sense. Whereas you have quite a thick line at the top when you use longtail. And because that's what I'm used to, that's what I like. But I'll see how this wears and see how it goes. I'll be really interested. Because it's fun trying new things. I really, really enjoy that about knitting. There's always something new you can try. I think there always will be something new I can try. You just, yeah, so many options. So this sock seems to be have quite a lot of differences to it. I'm using Xiaogu needles for this and enjoying them. They're, yeah, lovely. So they're not far enough along to have much more to say, but I am going to have to knit them one after the other because I only have one set of 2.75mm DPMs, so we'll see how that goes. Just going to have a little sip of my tea. I've got some chamomile and vanilla today for the pacifying qualities that it has. My next work in progress, in my lovely bag from Knit and Stitch Bits, which I just love. It's such a lovely size, so beautifully made, and yeah, it's one of my favourites. I have my Weather the Weather socks from London House Yarns. Gosh, that tea's made me really warm. Yes, so anyway, I've done one sock, and usually I knit my socks concurrently. I like to do the rib on one, the rib on the other, the leg on one, the leg on the other, and so on. But it just didn't happen with this. I don't know why. So now I have to do the second sock, and it's never as inviting for me to do the second sock, but I've just got to do it. I've knit these for my mum. Thought they would suit her better than me. She's a bit brighter than I am, so I thought she'd enjoy them. And they're really fun. I really like them. They were really fun to work with. I really get that thing, you know, that people talk about where self-striping has that sort of compulsiveness because you just want to get to the next stripe, and this totally had that because you don't just have the plain stripes, you've then got this little rainbowy bit in the middle, and so it doesn't make sense to stop in the middle of a rainbow. You might as well just go to the end of the rainbow, and then you're knitting the grey, so you might as well just get to the next rainbow, and you can't stop in the middle of a rainbow, so you might as well just get to the end of that rainbow. So yeah, they were fun to do. I put in a Fish Lips Kiss heel. This is some merino cashmere and nylon. This is a mini skein from the Wool Barn, which is lovely and soft. And I decided to do a Fish Lips Kiss heel instead of my usual heel flap and turn, because I didn't want to mess with the... Looks funny there. I didn't want to mess with the gauge at all. And I knew that if I added extra stitches, it would make things look a bit funny around there. Probably. So yeah, I just did that. And then I did a rounded toe because Mum saw the rounded toe on the last socks I used it on. I think they were my tweed socks. And said she really liked the look of it. And she didn't have it on any of her socks. She does. But she wanted to have a rounded toe, so I did one on here. And I love how pretty that looks. It's so cute. So yes, I must cast on the second sock now. Must. I've got quite a lot left as well, which is nice because I can use that. I've already knit a square in my blanket, I think. I didn't bring that up today because I've only done a couple of squares. It'd be nice to swap minis and things. So that's that. My next work in progress is also a sock. And it's in this lovely, cute bag. Isn't it sweet? It's from Thimble and Thread Make on Etsy. Tracy very kindly sent it to me. And she's also sent us a prize for the Purposeful stash along, which I'll show you in just a bit. It's very lovely. It's got a cute little handle. And it's got one of those clampy pulley things. I don't know what they're called. But I like those. They mean that everything stays very secure. So in here I've got my... Oh, you haven't seen this yarn actually. This was from one of my purchases from Fibre East, my very first purchase. It was the last skein in this colour and I just had to have it. I knew that if I thought about it and came back later, it would be gone. So it's this gorgeous speckled sort of tan base. It kind of reminds me of my favourite ever pair of socks, which were some Juno Fibre Arts speckled. So yes, I had to get that. It's from Easy Knits. It's the Deeply Wicked Dusted Dreams Coffee Eclair colourway. It's 100% superwash merino. So yes, I was really excited about this yarn. And then I've been keeping an eye on Suffolk socks lately because I haven't got, I think everything's a bit disorganised, isn't it? She's been, Julie from Suffolk Socks has been sort of showing some future stock that she was going to get. And they were the Knit Pro Zings. They're aluminium needles and they're colour coded for the different sizes, so each of the different sizes are different colours. And I love tools. I love trying out different tools. I think it's such a fun element of this craft. So I had to get a set, well 2 sets, so that I can knit concurrently. So these are the 2.25mm. And they're in this sort of coppery colour. Would you call that copper? Or gold? Maybe gold. So yes, I thought, how perfectly do they go with this yarn? So I had to wait to cast this on until these arrived. So I haven't knit very much, just under there. My little Chihuahua needle cozy. I'm so looking forward to getting back into being able to make those for my shop and stock my shop and keep working on that. So looking forward to it. Everything's just so up in the air at the moment, it's just not a possibility to keep it going, unfortunately. But soon, I hope. So yes, in there is my start of sock on the Knit Pro Zings. I love the colours together. I'm really enjoying these needles. They're really nice and light. And I think I like light in my needles because High Sharps, my favourite needles, are extremely light. So I think that's one of my pluses. Another one of my pluses for needles I really like is sharpness, and these aren't particularly sharp. And you know how Knit Pro don't have an extremely uniform tip to their needles? Some of them are blunter than others. You do get that on these. But really, I think they're just fine for vanilla socks. They're quite sharp enough for vanilla socks. Or just simple socks, socks that don't have a lot of like cables or lace. I probably wouldn't use it for, but yeah, just sort of plain and simple socks. They're really nice needles. They're really smooth. There's no step here where they go from that silver to the gold. I was a bit concerned that there would be, because I do find there is a bit with the carbons, but there's not with those, which I was pleased about. So I've done the rib. I've done a bit of an extra long rib. I was looking at Himiko no Sakai on Instagram. I was looking at her Instagram feed. She knits the prettiest socks. They are just absolutely lovely. I noticed she did a slightly longer rib and it looked so nice that I thought I would give it a go for these socks. So yeah, rib is always the sort of thing. 15 rows is my minimum. I know that I have to get to 15 rows because that gives me a long enough rib that I like. I will try to go to 20 rows if I can, but Himiko's were even longer than that, so yeah, I've just got to make sure that I don't get bored of knitting rib on the next sock. I don't know what it is about rib. It shouldn't be that boring, should it? I'm not sure what pattern to do for these. At first I was going to do vanilla socks, so just completely plain. And then I was thinking Hermione's everyday socks, because the socks that this yarn reminds me of, my favourite socks that I've ever knit, they're Hermione's everyday socks, so I thought I might do those. But then I got about half an inch into it and I didn't like how it looked. It was late at night and I was just feeling a bit grumpy probably, so I thought no, I don't like that, and ripped it out. But I should have remembered, I never like how Hermione's everyday socks looks at first, but once you get a few inches knit, it always looks lovely in every single yarn, so I should have just kept going. But never mind. I've also been thinking about the Thuja socks. They're just they've got just sort of a simple line in moss stitch down them at regular intervals. Or I was thinking blueberry waffle, but I tend to do those with tweedy yarns. But the lovely socks that Himiko was knitting with the long rib, they were blueberry waffle socks. They just looked so lovely. So I'm not sure. Which is probably a good thing, because it will mean that instead of just carrying on with this, I'll pick up my other set of needles and my other ball of yarn and actually knit the rib of the next sock. So yes, I'm not sure what pattern they're going to be yet. I'm really enjoying the yarn though, it's very nice. The Dusted Dreams is a new colour range that Easy Knits have got, and they've just brought out. So beautiful. So that's that one. My next work in progress is new. It's in my fat squirrel bag that I got on a D-stash from the lovely Jeanette, got a little Moomin friend, and a little brooch from Molly of the Homespun House. So in here I've got a new cast on. It is the True Friend, and it's by Vera Valimaki. Just hold that over there. It's sort of an oversized stripy jumper with, I think they're 3/4 length sleeves, can't quite see. But since this pattern came out, I've really wanted to knit it, but I've just not focused any attention on it. It's just been one of those ones that I really wanted to knit and knew I would do one day. But the other day I was just in my stash having a bit of a root around, and I just got completely set on the fact that I wanted to knit that jumper and I wanted to knit it from stash, so I went searching. I found almost enough skeins of Drops Baby Alpaca Silk in this purple colour. I think it's grey purple or something. The colour's 4314. I actually bought this to knit another water lily, which is this top that I'm wearing, but while I was knitting this I thought, no, I will never knit another one of those. So I started this jumper, and now I've finished this water lily, I think I really quite like another one of those. But never mind. So you have your main colour for this jumper, and that's my main colour, and then for the contrast colour I thought I would use this speckled from the Wool Barn, which is just beautiful. It's got this colour in it, which is quite handy, but it's just gorgeous. I love all the different purples in there. This is a superwash wool and nylon. The Wool Barn is on Etsy. So yes, they're the yarns that I got out of my stash. I think this would be quite a good jumper for stash. I came up with lots of different, well, a few different options for it out of stash. So if I like how it fits, it might be one of those that I would knit again. Looks like it's going to be quite fun. And this is the start. It is the most peculiar looking start of a jumper I've ever had. So, it's got a bit twisted. Hang on a second. I think that's it. So that's what we've got so far. Isn't it weird? So that's the neck hole, and this is the front bib. I think I'm about finished with that, so I need to have a look at what I do next. You do some short rows, but they're explained so well in the pattern. I just did exactly what the pattern said. Usually with short rows I would do the I can't remember what they were called. I only mentioned them in the last episode. Wrapless short rows, I think, where you have a piece of scrap yarn to help you with the short rows. But these I just did exactly from the pattern. So this pattern really appeals to me with the unusual construction. I do love unusual construction, and I'm really intrigued to see how this will go. I think it will be okay. Got a bit of lavender on there. I think it will be okay if I do run out of yarn, because the stripes will break up differences with dye lots, hopefully, or I might be able to improvise a bit. I say that now. I'll come on to dye lots in my next work in progress. But I knit the neckband on some higher sharps 16-inch. I think these are 3mm. And I'm knitting the body panel on higher sharps interchangeables 3.5mm. And it's in the same yarn as this. It's very nice and soft and very reasonably priced, which makes it really manageable for garments. For me, I find, anyway. So yeah, I haven't worked on that for a bit, but I'm really excited about that jumper. I think it will be nice. So my last work in progress in my lovely umbrellas bag from Fondant Fibre. This is my Newsome. The pattern's by Bristol Ivy and I'm knitting it for our Purposeful Stash Along. Now, the Purposeful Stash Along, I'm sort of feeling a bit sad that I've started it already because I just haven't been able to devote as much time as I'd like to being in the threads and chatting about it and stuff like that. So I'm considering, and do let me know what you think, I'm considering extending it. I know we have 3 months anyway, so if you think this is a terrible idea then do let me know. But I'd quite like to be able to get involved a bit in it, chat in the threads and things like that, and I just haven't been able to. So yeah, let me know if you would like an extension because you're not close to finishing something yet, then that would be a good reason too. So yeah, let me know what you think. And I'm getting prizes together. I told you about the one from Thimble and Thread Make. I'll show you that in a second. But if anyone out there would like to donate prizes, then just get in touch. I've just heard from someone who is going to donate a prize, which is really exciting and really generous and very appreciated, so thank you. But yeah, do get in touch if you'd like to donate a prize. We've got the 2 prize threads, the larger projects and the smaller projects, and the sort of threshold to make it a larger project is it has to be over 800 metres. So I have put that in the first post on that larger projects, finished objects thread. So yeah, if you forget how much it has to be, then just check there. So anyway, where was I? Yes, the Newsome by Bristol Ivy. It's this lovely mitered cardigan. This appealed to me because of its interesting construction too. So far I have it's knit bottom up. So I've knit the body part. It's quite difficult to show. Yeah, you can sort of see it, can't you? I've knit up to under the arms, and I've just started my first sleeve. This got put away for a bit. Now, I had 3 balls of this Rowan felted tweed, which is the yarn I'm using. I don't think I have another ball in there at the moment. But yeah, this is Rowan felted tweed. DK, I think it's called. I had 3 balls because I was going to make a hat. And then I wanted to knit this pattern, so I got a few more balls and thought, oh, it'll be fine. I know there'll be different dye lots, but it'll be fine. It's not so fine. I've just noticed when I put it, I was going to take a photo of it with the sleeve and the body. It's not something you notice when it's sort of not great lighting, but in daylight, proper daylight, the 3 skeins that I had to knit my hat are a lot oatmealier than the new skeins, which are a lot greyer. So that's infuriating. This isn't the sort of pattern that you can alternate skeins really, because your edge stitches aren't going to be covered up by a button band or seamed or anything like that. Your edge stitches need to be quite neat because they form the outline of the garment, so I couldn't work out a way that alternating would work. So I'm just going to have to live with it, I think. I've got 1 more ball of the oatmeal-y colour. This was 2 balls, well, almost. And then I'm going to knit the sleeves and the rest. There's a sort of garter stitch panel down the front. I'm going to knit that in the grey and just have the oatmeal as a backup. But yeah, that was so infuriating. I only realised when I'd finished the back, so if you're ever in doubt of whether dye lots make a difference, they really do, and do make sure you check them in daylight so that you can not make my mistakes. I hope it doesn't show up too much, but we'll just see. But that's coming along. I'm ignoring the difference in colour now so that I can just get it finished, because I'm really enjoying working on it. It's a lovely yarn. I think it's quite soft, but I really do think that if you're quite sensitive, it will be prickly for you. And I'm really enjoying how the pattern's working. It's an interesting pattern to knit, and I love patterns like that. Who was I watching? Oh, Knitalong Crafts. I was watching her podcast, and she was saying about how she just sometimes knits things for the experience of knitting that thing, not because she wants the finished object. And I totally relate to that. I like knitting things because it's got a different construction or something interesting about it, even if I don't want the finished object. Luckily, because mine and Mum's tastes are slightly different, she will like the things that I'm making because I want to try something new. So I found that really interesting, and I totally relate to you on that. Knitalong's Craft is a great podcast if you haven't watched it. I'll put links to it in the show notes. She talks about knitting, spinning, quilting, just wonderfully prolific maker. And she has a shop where she sells lovely bags. Using my circa counter for that, to keep track of the sleeves. I don't like knitting sleeves very much. It's just, but I've just got to do it and stop moaning about it. So, finished objects. I finished my Lena tee, and this was by Carrie Bostic Hogue. I knit this out of Bergère de France Bigarelle. It's a linen and cotton blend, and it's got little viscose neps. So that's the top, and I really, really like it. I would definitely use this yarn again. It seems like it's going to be really easy to care for, easy to wear, and it does seem like it's going to get softer and softer the more I wear it and wash it. So I'm thrilled with this yarn, really like it. And I love the tweediness. There's a photo of me wearing it on Instagram. I'll put it on my project page if I haven't done that already. It's a really good fit, and yeah, I'm very keen on this pattern. I'm tempted to knit it again actually. I don't like things too close around my neck. It makes me feel really claustrophobic. So I was concerned that this would have that effect, but it didn't. It was fine. I popped one of my little grain deep labels on there, which I just think is the most beautiful finishing touch. I just love them. And yeah, I'm just really, really pleased with this. To block it, I put it in the washing machine. I washed it on a delicate cycle. I put it in a delicates bag, and yeah, just got it out and laid it flat after that. And the reason I did that is because I plan to wash this in the machine, because linen just gets softer when it's washed a bit more aggressively than a hand wash, doesn't it? So yeah, I wanted to just get it in the machine because I knew that's how I wanted to wash it. I didn't want to block it, I didn't want to soak it and sort of hand wash it find that it fitted really nicely. I wore it loads, and then, or I wanted to wear it lots, and then I put it in the machine and it got ruined. I sort of wanted to know early on if I was going to ruin it by putting it in the machine, but it came out really well. It evened up all the stitches nicely, and yeah, I'm just thrilled with it. Mum knit quite a lot of this for me, so I can't take full credit for it, but it's a really lovely top. I think if I were to knit it again, I might make a couple of changes. Like I might make the back longer than the front. I like the length. I added some length to it, which is perfect for me. But yeah, I don't think I'd change anything else. I just really like the pattern. I really enjoyed the yarn, so I'm happy with that. I got it all finished because I hoped to wear it to Fibre East on a Sunday a couple of weeks ago, but it was pouring down with rain and really chilly, so I couldn't wear it, which is a shame. But it's good to have it finished, and I've worn it a couple of times since then. My second finished object is my water lily, which I'm wearing. I knit this in Drops Baby Alpaca Silk, and I really like it. Really pleased with it actually. I didn't enjoy knitting it very much, but I think that was just the frame of mind I'm in, really, or was in, excuse me. Yeah, I think it was just the frame of mind I was in at the time, really, because there's nothing too difficult about it. It's just some of the bits, like the Latvian braid, I had to look up to remind myself how to do it. And I'm not always in the mood for lace, so I think it just kept getting put aside because of that. I did the Latvian braid as it was in the pattern. I did try another technique that I saw on a YouTube video where you don't have to cut your yarn, but it left really elongated stitches underneath, and I did the regular Latvian braid on the back, so I wanted them to match, so I had to rip that out, and that made me put it away for a while to sulk with it. So yeah, I just did it like the pattern said. I knit this bit a bit shorter than it said in the pattern because it just seemed like it was getting really long. And you do have to be a bit careful about when you're doing the V-neck, because you're taking away stitches, but it's not explained explicitly in the pattern of how to do that while retaining the stitch, the lace stitch pattern. So you do have to be a bit careful of that. But I'm really thrilled with it. I think I'll wear this an awful lot actually, and I think I might have to just grin and bear it and knit another one, because I do think I'll get an awful lot of wear out of it. I'll try and sit up a bit. I extended this as well to make it a bit longer, because I just prefer my tops longer, and it did grow a little bit in the blocking actually, a little bit more than I was expecting. I need to pop one of my little grain deep labels on. I was having a look. I keep them in this little Hello Kitty tin that Kemper from Junk Yarn podcast gave me. I was thinking I might put on a pink one, that might be quite cute. What do you think? Pink? I think pink. Well, there's this lovely brown. That's nice too. Yeah, I'm thinking pink, but let me know what you think. Yeah, and then it has the lace at the back too. These little sort of tiny arm type things. I don't think they're cap sleeves, are they? They're just little bits of arm. So I'm really thrilled with it, and I really like this edge detail. It's sort of like it's kind of like an I-cord in that it's got a substantialness to it, and I really like that. So yeah, I'm really happy with that one. I don't think there's anything else that I've forgotten to mention about it. Oh, another thing that I did was a 3-needle bind off on the tops of the sleeves instead of grafting it together, and that was just sheer laziness because I was ready for it to be done, so I just did 3-needle bind off. And then, oh, another thing I did, it's all coming back to me now, I also did the alternating purl 2 together and purl 3 together along the back so that it wasn't baggy, and it sits really nicely. It's not baggy at all, so very happy with this indeed. I hope it doesn't what's the word, stretch out of shape too much. It's knit at quite a sort of loose gauge, so I really hope it doesn't stretch out of shape, but we'll see. I'd quite like to knit it again in a pure wool or something like that, because I think this will be a nice sort of autumn garment, so yeah, might have a look into that. But yes, very pleased with this. It's by Megan Fernandez. It was in one of the Pom Pom Quarterly magazines. I need to work out whether that's going to annoy me, how the sleeves sort of kick up a bit. If it does, I'll just have to sort of spot block it again. I think that's probably because I did 3-needle bind off as opposed to the grafting. I think if it was grafted it would lay a bit flatter, but we live and learn. So yeah, very, very happy with this top. I'm really pleased that I finally decided to stop being a baby and finish it up. So I think I'll wear it a lot. So yeah, happy with that. So the Purposeful Stash Along, I'll show you the prize that Tracy sent us. Now, it was all wrapped up, so cute, and I'd really like to be able to send it to the person who wins wrapped cute like this, so I'm trying to be very delicate with it. Tracy's actually given us a coupon code. It's Little Bobbin 2015 or 2015, so do go and use that if you would like 10% off her lovely shop goodies. Her shop's Thimble and Thread Make on Etsy. I'll put links in the show notes, of course. But she sent us this. Isn't it adorable? And so perfect for this knit along because they're little doggies. So thank you so much, Tracy. So kind of you. There's the address. So yes, this will be one of the prizes for the Purposeful Stash Along. I'll pop it in the thread. I'll pop it in the chat thread, the first post there, or above the first post, you know, because I'm not sure how I'm going to organise prizes yet. I need to work out how to do that and hopefully gather some more. I'll pop that back in a minute so that I can do it as neatly as possible. But yes, do remember to go and use that Little Bobbin 2015 coupon code in her Etsy shop so that you can get 10% off. And thank you for sharing that with us, Tracy. So that's very exciting. On to lovely things. So, I got some sewing related lovely things. Just have a bit more of my tea. This is the book I mentioned in the last episode. I was talking about my Japanese folded patchwork quilt, which I have to admit I have done none to. There is no chance that it's going to be finished anytime soon. I think I literally did nothing on it. Yeah. This is what happens when I say, oh, I'll finish a strip for the next episode. Then I do nothing. I just shouldn't make sort of rules for myself. And then I probably would have done some. But anyway, I was talking about a Quilt As You Go book that I had seen on Love Sockwell's podcast. And I ordered it and it arrived. It's Quilt As You Go Made Modern. And it's by Jera Brandvig. Oh, and I've made something using this technique. I should have brought it in. I forgot. I'll show you next episode. I did show it on my little sewing room tour on Periscope. So if you watch that, you'll have seen it. But I'll show you next week if you missed that. But yes, I got this book and it seems really good. I'm really eager to get started on it, but I'm not allowed until I've maybe worked on that one a little bit more. But it's got some different quilt blocks. And they all seem quite simple and quite manageable, quite approachable. So if you haven't done quilting before, I do wonder if this would be a good book to start with. I think it might be. See, the instructions all seem very clear, and yeah, the patterns are quite lovely, and I think they'd be quite good for a beginner. So yeah, I got that book. I also got this Simplicity pattern. It's 1080, and it's the Dotty Angel. What is it called? I can't remember what it's called, but it's a little tunic type thing, and I really want to make this. I think it's so cute and I want to look like that. Creative and cute. So yeah, I'm going to have a go at making this dress because I just think it's really sweet. I think I can imagine it in lots of different fun fabrics. So I hope I can make that work. Yeah, so I'm really, really looking forward to giving that a try. I think it'll be really fun. I saw this pattern, I can't remember where now, but I was eagerly awaiting it coming to the UK and had to order a copy. So that'll be fun. It looks like it might be quite approachable for a novice because it's not got a great deal of shaping, and that's the thing I always struggle with, so I thought it might be a good thing to have a little go at dressmaking with. Hopefully it will be anyway, because I'd really like to make it. When I got my needles from Suffolk Socks, Julie very, very generously sent me along a little gift. She sent these tissues, but I think she includes those with her orders. They're so cute. So they need to go in my handbag. They've got yarn on the tissues as well. They're so cute. So yes, they need to go in my handbag. And she also sent me a Knitted Sock Society. This is a Rachel Coopy book, which is lovely. It's got just lovely different patterns in it. And this is the only Rachel Coopy book that I don't have, so I was really, really thrilled to get this one and add it to my collection. They've all got cabley bits and twisted stitches and just all the lovely things that Rachel Coopy does so beautifully. They're lovely, aren't they? Lacy ones. Oh! And Julie also sent me a skein of this yarn. I've just realised that these socks are knit in that yarn, so I could do an exact replica, which would be quite nice. This is Rowan Fine Art, and this is the Serin colourway, and it's beautiful. It's got sort of corally orange pinks, and then these sort of plummy mauves, and then bright red and sort of sherbety orange. and then this sort of brick orange colour. It's really gorgeous yarn. I've knit with this before. I've knit Mum a pair of socks with the Chiff Chaff colourway, which I think is that one. And they're really nice. They knitted up lovely, and she has worn them and said how much she likes wearing them. And I also knit, that only took 50 grams of yarn, so I also knit a sock head hat in this yarn. I think Mum has that as well. I think I gave that to Mum. But it made such a lovely sock head hat. The gauge with this yarn meant that there are just very thin stripes of the colours going round. It looked so pretty. I wonder if I should do a sock head hat. I've been thinking about casting on another sock head hat. Football season is nearly here, and we haven't got season tickets this time because we can't afford them, what with the house and things, or hopefully house. I hate mentioning it just in case, but I think we'll still be going up to lots and lots of games, and a sock head hat is the most perfect thing for the car journey and for half time and waiting for the game to start and things, because you just are going round and round and round all the time. And if it's dark on the way home and I don't feel like wearing my head torch, then I can just knit around on a sock head hat, and it grows really quickly. So yeah, that's, I wonder, what do you think? Do you think this colour is a bit bright for me for a sock head hat? I'd be really interested in your opinions on that. And then, because I only use 50 grams, I could use the other 50 grams for socks. I only ever do sock head hats with 50 grams because they give just the right amount of slouch, I think, for me, for my preference. So yes, that was a lovely surprise, so thank you so much, Julie. On Saturday, David and I went to Oxford, just for a little wander around really. We weren't sure what to do and just feeling quite restless, what with all that's going on at the moment. So we popped along to Oxford, which is closer than I thought it was. I've always thought it was a bit of a palaver to get there, but we were there really, really quickly. And we had some bubble tea, which was delicious, and we had some Mexican food, which was also delicious. And on our way home, I thought, I think I know a yarn shop in Oxford. I think there is a yarn shop in Oxford. So I had a little look, and we would go past it on our way home. So we stopped in there. It's called Oxford Yarn Store. And it was a nice little shop. It was down a really cute, sort of quintessentially English street. Very lovely little street. And it was a nice shop. It was a very cosy and warm shop. You could imagine being in there. There was a lovely big table in the middle. You could imagine being in there when it's really cold outside. It seems like it would be a really cosy place to be. It sort of reminded me of a knitting shop you might find in a cosy mystery. It's that sort of, had that sort of feel about it. So it was a lovely shop. They had yarns like Rowan, they had some Cascade, Debbie Bliss, I think. So your sort of normal yarn shop type yarns. And they also had this. And I don't know how to pronounce it. Isager? I'm not sure. If you know how to pronounce it, do let me know. They had a few of these yarns. And I haven't tried this before. And when I go to a yarn shop, I really like buying something from a yarn shop if I can afford to, because I think it's nice to support them with so much being online now. And if they've got something that I haven't used before, then I always get that, because it's just a great time to have a feel of it and have a try. So I think anyway. So yeah, I got 3 balls of this. It's a lace weight alpaca, fine alpaca it says. It's not soft like baby alpaca though, but I'm sure I'll be fine with it. But yeah, this is 400 metres for a 50-gram ball, and I got 3. And I got 3 because I was going to get 2, but then there was one left on the shelf and I didn't want it to be lonely, so I got that one too. So what am I going to do with 1,200 metres of lace weight? I'm not sure. I don't think it's enough to do a featherweight in my size, because that was what I was thinking of. I was also thinking of doing the, I don't know how you pronounce this either, it's Viajante or Viajante, or I don't know how you pronounce it, but that Martina Bain pattern, it's sort of like a giant poncho-y type thing. But I just don't think I'd wear that, and I don't think I'd enjoy knitting it actually. So no, I won't knit that one. And then I saw another pattern called Sandbank. I'll put a link in the show notes because I can't remember who it's by. But I might quite like to knit that. I'm imagining something cosy, not particularly lacy, just that's going to be a really cosy wraparound. So I'm wondering about the Sandbank, if that's what it's called. Let me write down to include that in the show notes. I think that's a lot of just round and round knitting, so that might be a good travel project too. Yeah, if you've got any ideas of something cosy, not too lacy, just like a light and drapey alpaca hug, then do let me know. So yeah, it was nice to pop into that little wool shop. Yeah, it was really fun to go and have a look at that one. And my last lovely things, let me just see the time. This could cut out at any second. I went to Fibre East a couple of weeks ago, and it was so lovely. It was pouring down rain for the majority of the time, which was a shame, but it was such a lovely day. I got to spend a lot of time with Knitting Mummy, who is just lovely, and I was thrilled to be able to meet up in person with her. We wandered around the show together, and we also met up with Tilly Trout, which was lovely because I love Tilly, and we've met up before to go to Loop, so it was just lovely to see her again. She had brought her friend Wendy with her, so it was nice to meet her. And we also met up with Zena, who's Little Yellow Uke from Little Yellow Uke Crafts podcast, and it was so lovely to meet her. I love Zena's podcast, and yeah, she was just lovely to spend a bit of time with. So yeah, it was lovely to meet up with them, and I also saw Time to Sew there, which was really nice. I love getting to see Alex, and I saw Thistledown, who's Teresa, and it was really lovely to meet Teresa. Yeah, and hear a little bit about her adventures to Shetland, which just sounded so fun. So it was a lovely, lovely day. I think there's something really special about yarn festivals for me, where it's sort of gone from buying, I just need to go there to buy things, to going there to meet with people that you chat to and who share your passion, and it was just so lovely to meet in person. So yeah, it was a really, really lovely day. And I bought a few things while I was there. I bought this little fibre braid from Little Owl Crafts. I wanted some fibre to spin and knit some socks, but I just couldn't find any that was quite right. But I really liked the sunniness of this sweet little braid. So I got that. It's a blue-faced Leicester, and this is British wool. It's all sourced from farms local to the dyer, and processed at British mills also. I had to stop off at the Knitting Goddess because I love the Knitting Goddess yarns. And I got this. This is her Brit sock, which is one I haven't tried before actually. I usually use the 4-ply wool and nylon, but this is the Brit sock. This is Blueface Leicester, Wensleydale, alpaca and nylon. And all of the Knitting Goddess yarns are British wool as well, and processed in Britain. And I just love these colours. This is Parma Violets. The Knitting Goddess doesn't do repeatable colourways anymore, which is a shame because Seaside Girl knit the most beautiful socks and I've wanted the colourway ever since and I haven't been able to get it. So I'm just going to keep looking just in case it comes back though. So it was such beautiful socks, Caroline. So you just have to grab them when you see them now. If you see them and you love them, you just got to grab them. So I had to get that one. And I also got this. This is a skein of fine Falkland merino with a lurex thread going through it. I don't know if you can see the sparkle, but since football season is coming up again, like I mentioned, I need a new hat. So I was thinking a sparkly hat would be quite fun. I'm thinking of knitting the bray cap. I think that's a Jared Flood pattern. It was very, very kindly given to me as a gift, and I've wanted to knit it, but I haven't found the perfect yarn, so it's just been waiting. I think this might be the yarn to use. So I just love it. I think that would be really fun. And my last purchases, I also got the Easy Knits yarn that I showed you in the socks earlier. My last purchases were from the Wool Barn, and it was such a pleasure to meet Maya there as well. Maya's the dyer behind the Wool Barn, and her stand just looked so beautiful. It was amazing, and lots of the colourways had sold out the day before, but she's bringing them all back to the shop, she said. So I'm going to keep an eye out for those. But I was really excited to get a few things from the Wool Barn. I got this delicate, soft and pretty Stardust lace. This is lace weight merino, silk and stellina, and it's got sparkle in. Well, the stellina is the sparkle. I don't think you'll be able to see it. It's a silver sparkle running through. It's so pretty. I was having a look at lace weight. There's a skein of lace weight in my imagination that I really want to get. It's sort of like this sort of colour with some really delicate speckles, but I couldn't find that, so this was the closest I could get, and it was from Maya, so I knew it would be beautiful. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to knit with this, but since knitting that Pebble Beach, it's just completely changed my mind about lace weight. I love it now. I also got this skein of tweed sock, and this is in the lilac colourway. This is a superwash merino and Donegal net yarn, and it's beautiful. It's more of a grapey purple, I would say, than the colour that I can see on the screen. Sort of a grey grape purple, if that makes any sense. And I know that this will probably be blueberry waffle socks because I love tweedy blueberry waffle socks. So that was gorgeous. And I also got this skein, which is so pretty. It's her luxury sock base. It's the Roses and Honey colourway. And it's superwash merino, cashmere and nylon. And it is just so pretty. There's little brown speckles, red speckles, orange, well, sort of orangey yellow speckles. And it's on sort of a beigey base, or orangey. It's not orange, it's sort of a really pale orange. So yeah, I had to get that one too. It's so beautiful, and it was just such a pleasure to meet Maya. She is just lovely. So that was lovely. Yeah, so just a really, really lovely day. It was lovely to meet people and lovely to bring home some really pretty yarns, and good. Yeah, it was a good day. So anyway, I better go before my memory runs out, the camera memory. But thank you so much for being here with me today. It's been really lovely to catch up with you, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Bye.